Hey guys, your boy Shota here again, and I'm back with another video. Today I'll be talking about the matches differs contract and how to automate it on Binogator. So first things first, what is the matches differs? The matches differs trade type is the digit based options trade where traders predict whether the last digit of an asset price at expiration will match or differ from a pre-chosen digit. So there are a few things that this ebook mentions. It mentions that there is a prediction digit that you must set. So let's come over to Binogator. I'll change this to the digit rate part. Know that this match differs is a trade that you can use this indicator, the digit rate part indicator, to trade. So I'm going to come over to this indicator, and I'm going to look at this digit over matches and under. I'm going to look at this, and with my focus being on these matches. So I'm going to look at these numbers carefully, and I'm going to notice that these numbers, the smallest percentage of these numbers here is 4. So this per matches is the probability or the percentage that the numbers that are matched here is going to match the last digit of the market. So first things first, let me change this to matches differs and go over to my main strategy. So when I look at these numbers now, at a quick glance I can see that I can see that digit 5 has 5% chance of matching, or 5% chance of being the last digit. So I'm going to leave my prediction digit as 5, and I'm going to set the ratio to 1 tick, and I'm going to tell the ball to buy differs. Let me quickly run the board. So one thing about this strategy is that you are going to have to be policing the bots or policing the strategy, because you are using probability to say that if the numbers that are going to come up as the last digit is less than, we are using these matches. Let's say when we look at these matches, we are going to say what is the lowest matching percentage in these matches. When we look at the lowest matching percentage, then we are going to use that number to trade. That is the whole idea behind the strategy. So we have to keep looking at the chart to note when the market now goes unfavorable, or the matches percentage now of that number that our prediction digit now becomes higher than the rest. So we are looking at the prediction digit must be the lowest in the matches column. All right, so I think you guys understand the strategy now. So you can see it is 5%. So I'm going to leave the board to keep trading. This this particular strategy I've noticed has a very high win rate, especially when you are looking at the charts. So let's leave it now. The bot is going to keep trading until and I'm not going to change it until the matches percentage now becomes too high. So you can see it's at 4% now. So I'm just going to leave it to keep trading. The bot is going to keep taking trades. So this has a very high win rate. So the only downside about this strategy that I have seen is that the payout is quite small. That's the only downside about this strategy. So because for a 0.35 stake, um your gain is going to be $0.02. So the payout is quite small compared to other trade types. That's the downside about the strategy. And then after a loss is 0.35, which can once one loss can quickly take out your profits. That's just the downside about this strategy, guys. That's the only thing I've seen. So you can see now that the lowest number here is 6 and 0. So I'm going to look at it, which number has been occurring here. So I'm going to quickly change this. Let me quickly change the prediction digit to, so you can see now 0. I'll change the preparation digit to 0 because 0 now is now the lowest matching percentage. This is 4%, which is lower than every other matching percentage here. So I'll quickly change the preparation digit to 0 and I'll leave the bot to keep trading. So this is how you keep changing the numbers if the percentage gets higher than the becomes too high. So you just change the number and then it continue leave the bot to continue running the contracts. All right, so like I was saying, the profit of the stake is quite high. And it's very easy for you to run at a loss when you lose a stake, when you lose a contract. So for a profit of 0.02, you have to wait for the bot to accumulate a lot of money, and one single loss can just take away all your profit. That's one thing I've noticed about the strategy. So this now is number what number is this? This digit is 4. 4 has the lowest. Okay, it has the market has balance. I wanted to change it to 4 because 4 and 0 now has the same percentage, but 4 is now is lower. So let me change the preparation digit to 4 and I'll just leave the ball to keep running. So this is how you just have to sit down on the chart and monitor it. This strategy has a very high win rate, that's for sure, but you have to just stay on the chart and monitor the indicator, the dog chart indicator, so that anytime that the matches percentage becomes higher than the rest, you just change the digits to the smallest or the lowest matching percentage. So I'm going to run this bot. I'm going to run this bot to maybe I want to hit like $5 or $3 because the percentage profit is quite small. So I'm going to run it for some time. Let me see if I can hit like $3 or $5 before I stop the video. Another thing I need to discuss now on this strategy is the martingale. So this strategy has a high martingale stake. For example, the martingale after this is I bought with $0.35. The next stake I used was $4.9. So another thing about this strategy is that the martingale is quite high. So you have to really police the strategy. Okay, now this is let's change this to let's go back to our main strategy and change this to 0, our prediction digit to 0, because that is now the lowest percentage. So all I was saying about the martingale, you have to really police this strategy so that and watch the chart so that your martingale you won't lose trades more than 3 times, because it is very easy for you to run into a loss in this because of the martingale. Look at now, I have run into loss. I've run into loss 80 minus 80%, and I'm still just imagine my win rate 59 and 12. This is now the disadvantage of the strategy I was saying. You can see now it's very easy for you to run into a big loss, just like I have run into loss here. So you have to quickly be able to change strategies, change the numbers. So let me quickly change this to 5. Change prediction to 5. So this is just the only downside about this particular strategy. You can quickly get into loss if the bot fails the trades like 2 consecutive times, and this is because of the martingale. The martingale is set very high, and it is set like that to accommodate the loss because the loss that the bot is going to make, because the loss is quite higher than the profit. So that's why the martingale is set high like that. So it's not about changing this. You can't really change the setting of the martingale because it is set like that for a set particular reason. So what you have to do is that you have to make sure that you police the chart so that you do not run into loss, so that the boss doesn't have like two consecutive losses rather, and then you now be run your you now find that your profit is gone, and then your initial stake or your amount of money that you're using to trade is gone as well. So that, I think I'm glad that this happened so that you can see a good example of how this can go wrong, and you should monitor your charts and the indicator, the digit rate path indicator, so that this would not happen to you. All right, thank you very much for showing up again, guys, and as always, I love you all. Have a great one.